Well, hey there, YouTubers. Today I'm here to talk about a couple of pocket knives that are new on the market. But before we get started, I want to talk about my favorite pocket knife and why I might be thinking about some others. So this is my Victorinox Tinker. It's a classic Swiss Army knife. It's got a lot of different tools on it. It's even got the toothpick and the tweezers, which are, great little tools. I love using the screwdriver. It's great in a pinch. It's got two blades on it, which is really great because the big blade that I use the most is the one that gets pretty dull. So the little blade is usually pretty sharp, so I can usually count on that one. It's small, it fits in a pocket, it's great to have. It saved me a bunch of times. You can see mine is actually missing the metal Victorinox logo there. That fell off years ago. I've got a chip in the plastic on this side that shouldn't be there, from dropping it. Shoot, I've actually got two chips in the plastic, so yeah, but it's still hanging on. I've almost lost it, but a friend found it. This knife's been with me for more than 20 years. And it's just a silly little plastic and steel pocket knife that they still make. Costs about $22. But my dad gave it to me when I was a kid, and it's been special ever since. But I love this pocket knife. I have a lot of attachment to this. But the thing is, the blades don't lock, right? That's just kind of a friction lock. So if I'm not using it well, or if I'm using it a whole lot, there's just a chance that this blade could pop back into the case and surprise me. Wouldn't be good, right? So I pretty much consider this knife for use in a pinch. If I've got one or two projects, one or two cuts to make, I'm opening one box. This one's great to grab, get the job done, put it away, and move on. But if I'm working all day, I'm outdoors, I'm camping or something, and I really need a blade that I'm going to be using often, I find myself reaching for a locking knife. And this is the one I've been going with. It's pretty basic, it has a pocket clip, it's just got the thumb tab on the one side, so it's a right-hander. Got the liner lock. It's solid. It's cheap. It's not branded. It is stainless, made in Taiwan. It's got a lanyard loop. If I were didn't even remember it had that. Anyway, cheap knife, but it does the job. It's not super sharp, but it does have this serrated edge, so I can cut rope, or I can pop off a zip tie or something like that. So this is a great tool. But I really miss having all these tools from this knife. So I'm kind of in a pickle. I don't want to carry both. I've only got so much room in my pockets. I'm not going to start adding pouches to my belt and extra bags and that kind of thing. I want something that fits in a pocket or clips onto my back pocket or something like that. So I've been looking for another option. So the good news is there are a couple of new products on the market that might suit both of my needs, and they're called locking knife multi-tools. So I'm going to check out a couple of these today and give you my first impressions, and then try and decide if I might use one of these for everyday carry, camping, that sort of thing. So we'll be looking at the Leatherman Free K2, as well as the Milwaukee Fastback 5-in-1. Be looking at these two tools, give some comparison, give a walkthrough, and tell you what I think. Okay, so let's get started. So, the Leatherman Free K2. Let's walk through how it works. This is the folded configuration. Got a pocket clip on that side. can see the other tools hiding out there. The blade just pulls out, and then it's got this magnetic system for locking it in place. You can see it move. The blade profile actually has kind of a hook on the back end that hooks around this other piece. So, pretty clever. And you can, if you get used to it, you can open it one-handed. So, pretty cool. Put that away. Now, on the back side, let's check out these tools. They've got a nail nick for pulling tools out. This knife takes some particular effort to pull those out. So I don't know if I've got kind of a rough one that needs some work. I realize the torque screws for working on this set of tools is teeny tiny, and I don't even have a bit for that. So honestly, I may be asking Leatherman for a warranty issue, and I might have to send this one in because it is really difficult to pull these tools out. But let's take a look at these. We've got the pry bar and large flat blade screwdriver. We've got the awl and the small screwdriver, as well as the Phillips screwdriver and bottle opener. So when you pull one of these out and all the way out, it locks into place. And that is a really sure lock, which is really great. And you get that assurance with any of these tools that you pick. So you pop the screwdriver out or the bottle opener, and you can leave that tool out and you can set it on your workbench. You know that you've got a tool that's ready to pick up and use. You can grab the screwdriver, drive screws, open beers all day. So I do really like that feature that all of these are locking. And so not only does this tool offer you a locking blade, it also offers locking tools, which again, the Victorinox doesn't offer any of that. So generally speaking, pretty neat offering. It's quite a bit bigger than the Victorinox, but again, this is probably a tool that you could use all day. It's got a good long blade. You know, you're out fishing and you're trimming lines or cutting fish out of nets or something. You know, you could use that blade all day. You could really use, you could use the screwdriver quite a bit too. Now, it's not going to be as great as a long bit driver or, you know, your custom different sizes if you're working on your car or something, but, you know, it's certainly good enough, and it's probably a little tougher than the Swiss Army knife in most situations. So that's the basics of the Leatherman Free K2. Alright, now let's check out the Milwaukee Fastback 5-in-1. Now this is part of the Milwaukee Fastback line of tools. One of their most popular series is actually the locking utility knife tools, but I really don't like doing all day cutting with a utility knife blade. I'm worried I'm going to snap them in half or fold a blade over because they're so little. Great for scraping and small jobs, but not really for camping, not for working in the yard or something like that. So let's check out this tool and get oriented. So the Milwaukee Fastback, the blade is actually locked in place and can't be deployed until you push the button. And this knife is really, in my consideration, a two-hand opener. So you push the button and then you can pull the blade out. Now, if you're maybe really good, you can press the button and kind of like, you know, flick the blade out. But then you kind of risk throwing your knife like halfway across the yard or, you know, straight into your buddy's leg, something like that. So I think to safely deploy this knife, push the button, pull the blade out, and then you're ready to cut. It doesn't take that long. It's the safest way to operate this. You've got a good long blade, you've got a serrated edge, great for cutting string or popping a zip tie, like I said earlier. You do have a liner lock, so you've got to pull that back to flip the blade in, and then again you're locked. You can see the bottle opener right there, so hopefully you're not using that on the job site unless you're drinking a fancy root beer at lunch, but still useful to have, and useful to have right on your pocket. The pocket clip is the wire style, and if you look closely, you can see there's like a little bump in there. So it really keeps it super secure on your pocket or on your tool bag if you're worried about that. Now let's check out the screwdriver. It pops out of the other side of the tool, and it locks into place. I love it. This is actually a bit driver, so it comes with this, two-sided bit, Phillips and flat blade. Again, it locks into place, so it's pretty secure, and it's about the size of a screwdriver. I even like this cutout, and it makes it a little more ergonomic. The weird thing about this is that the liner lock is actually the opposite direction of what you might be used to with a locking knife. So that takes some getting used to, but still a pretty cool feature for what's basically just a pocket knife. So let's try out these tools and see how well they work. I have a 2x4 with a screw in it, and I'm going to try and turn this a little bit more with first the Leatherman Free K2, and then I'll try it out with the Milwaukee. So use the nail nick, let's pop our Phillips out. Now these tools are kind of flat. This Phillips isn't rounded like you might see in a Swiss Army knife. So I'm a little curious how well this will work, but let's see what we've got. It actually grips the screw pretty well there, and that's honestly pretty solid. It feels good in the hand. It feels like you're turning a screwdriver, and I can turn it both ways pretty easily. Yeah, that one definitely passes. Let's try that same test with the Milwaukee Fastback. So popping out the driver, grabbing my trusty 2x4 here, and then driving away. So this tool is a little narrower, and the extension of the bit driver is a bit longer than the Leatherman. So, if you're not real sure on where you're landing with that end of the bit, it might be a little tougher. But this one also feels like I'm turning a screwdriver. So I'm passing this one as well. That's a really great feeling in the hand, and I could see this really being useful as an everyday carry tool. So I know you can't do a knife test without showing how sharp the blade is. I'm not going to compare the steels or tell you to what degree one is sharper than the other. When I buy a new tool, I expect it to work. And I know that a factory edge is probably not as sharp as you might put on like a woodworking hand plane when you bring it home. But I'll show you that both of these blades can cut. So I've got my 2x4 here, and yes, I can make shavings right off the edge. So that's a good sharp blade. I'm getting little curly shavings right off the edge there. So that's a good blade. Now to check out the Milwaukee Fastback and the blade on it. Pop it out, lock it in place. Same story. Okay, so not quite as sharp, but I'm still getting curly shavings right off the corner of a 2x4. So perfectly sharp blade, ready to work. So I've looked at both of these tools. I've given you my basic impressions, and now I need to decide if one of these is going to replace my Swiss Army knife. They're both good. They both do what they advertise. They both fit in the hand, both fit in the pocket. The Leatherman is just really hard to flick out these other tools. And honestly, I think I do need to make a warranty claim and see if there's an issue, because it shouldn't take that much effort. So I think I have to send this one in and see what Leatherman thinks. And in the meantime, I'll be carrying the Milwaukee Fastback. I think this is going to be a great tool for me, and I think it's going to serve me really well on my next camping trip. So that's my review for the day, and thanks for watching.